Greetings, friends of the universe. Today we are going to learn about Nikola Tesla's secret methods for creative thinking. What is his thinking process? What is his visualization technique? And what is his sleep pattern? Let's start. Nikola Tesla is not as widely known as Thomas Edison, but those who know about him suggest that his genius for invention surpassed that of Edison. He lacked Edison's streetwise marketing savvy, but his vision broke new ground on so many levels. Even today, Tesla is enjoying a resurgence as environmentalists look back to his ideas for a free energy system and wonder what might have been and what might still be resuscitated to save the world. Nikola Tesla is most famously known for his contributions to the design of the alternating current electricity system, but he's also credited with around 300 other patents for all kinds of inventions. Throughout his life, he was continually working on projects and getting things done. This video seeks to extrapolate from Tesla's life some of the secrets to his prodigious creative thinking. What enabled this giant of science and invention to brainstorm and develop ideas that are still being exploited and studied today, a century later? What can we emulate from Nikola Tesla's thinking style to unleash our own super creative abilities? I do not think there is any thrill that can go through the human heart like that felt by the inventor as he sees some creation of the brain unfolding to success. Such emotions make a man forget food, sleep, friends, love, everything. The power of imagination. What made Nikola Tesla great was his precise and grandiose imagination. He grew up with an intense visual imagination that tormented him when he was unable to control it. It would present itself forcibly into his mind when he was trying to interact in the real world. He grew up without confidence in himself, thinking that this was a shackle destined to cripple his lifelong worth and validity. But he learned to control it. And for all the pain he suffered, the sheer beauty of the upside is hard to match. I could do no better to describe it than he described it himself. This is what he said. I soon discovered that my best comfort was attained if I simply went on in my vision, further and further, getting new impressions all the time, and so I began to travel, and of course, in my mind. Every night, and sometimes during the day, when alone, I would start on my journeys, see new places, cities, and countries, live there, meet people, and make friendship and acquaintances. This I did constantly, until I was about 17, when my thoughts turned seriously to invention. Then I observed to my delight that I could visualize with the greatest facility. I need no models, drawings, or experiments. I could picture them all as real in my mind. I do not rush into actual work. When I get an idea, I start at once building it up in my imagination. I change the construction, make improvements, and operate the device in my mind. It is absolutely immaterial to me whether I run my turbine in thought or test it in my shop. I even note if it is out of balance. There is no difference whatever, the results are the same. In this way, I am able to rapidly develop and perfect a conception without touching anything. When I have gone so far as to embody in the invention every possible improvement I can think of and see no fault anywhere, I put into concrete form this final product of my brain. Invariably, my device works as I conceived that it should, and the experiment comes out exactly as I planned it. In 20 years, there has not been a single exception. Why should it be otherwise? Engineering, electrical, and mechanical, is positive in results. There is scarcely a subject that cannot be mathematically treated and the effects calculated or the results determined beforehand from the available theoretical and practical data. The carrying out into practice of a crude idea, as is being generally done, is, I hold, nothing but a waste of energy, money, and time. If you're an engineer or builder, you're probably feeling jealous right about now, or maybe you think he is crazy. Either way, Nikola Tesla's imagination was a private sandbox with zero limitations. It emulated reality so accurately that he could invent and discover in ways that others could not do in hundreds of lifetimes. The electricity powering your screen right now was surely, at least at point, transmitted as alternating current, which is invention of Nikola Tesla. Let's also not forget about the radio or electric motor. Nikola Tesla had extraordinary visual thinking powers. When he got an idea for a new machine, he was able to set it up in his mind and leave it running to see how it would work. His capacity for this was so developed that the results that he got in his mind were incredibly accurate. This was verified when it came to building prototypes for the new machine. He would already know exactly how it would perform because of his mind lab experiments. Here is some information gathered from the book, Nikola Tesla, Humanitarian Genius. Tesla's mental abilities require some mention, since not only did he have a photographic memory, he was able to use creative visualization with an uncanny and practical intensity. He describes in his autobiography how he was able to visualize a particular apparatus and was then able to actually test run the apparatus, disassemble it, and check for proper action and wear. During the manufacturing phase of his inventions, he would work with all blueprints and specifications in his head. The invention invariably assembled together without redesign and worked perfectly. Tesla slept 1 to 2 hours a day and worked continuously on his inventions and theories without benefit of ordinary relaxation or vacations. He could judge the dimension of an object to 1/100th of an inch and perform difficult computations in his head without benefit of slide rule or mathematical tables. Far from an ivory tower intellectual, he was very much aware of the issues in the world around him, made it a point to render his ideas accessible to the general public by frequent contributions to the popular press and to his field by numerous lectures and scientific papers. Reading into his history, it seems that Nikola Tesla had strangely powerful visualization abilities from an early age. Perhaps there was some mental aberration that lent him these abilities. There are suggestions that he had a form of autism that may have contributed to his savant abilities. For the rest of us, we need to develop our powers of visualization. As with most things, this is something that can be done quite systematically and which improves with time and effort. My strongest recommendation is to practice image streaming and use a mind machine. Nothing opens the third eye of visualization as readily as using the visual thinking stream on a regular basis. Nikola Tesla often talked about how he could visualize machines and rarely drew out schematics before he started building. The process, often referred to as visual thinking, isn't ingrained in all of us, but we've shown you how to identify it before. Even if it's not a trait most of us have, the idea to just concentrate on the end product is certainly something we've talked about before, and creative thinking often requires that you relax and just work through problems in your head. We can't all sit around thinking about projects until they've become a working machine in our brains. Tesla's brand of thinking still works as an experiment most of us will benefit from taking the time to do. More importantly, he wasn't born with these skills either. He did certain exercises to train his brain as a child. This is what he said. Although I must trace to my mother's influence whatever inventiveness I possess, the training she gave me must have been helpful. It comprised all sorts of exercises, as guessing one another's thoughts, discovering the defects of some form or expression, repeating long sentences, or performing mental calculations. These daily lessons were intended to strengthen memory and reason, and especially to develop the critical sense, and were undoubtedly very beneficial. One of the best ways I ever discovered for improving my visualization skills was to simply sit in meditation and visualize a series of third-dimensional geometric shapes rotating in the mind space in front of me. For example, I would visualize a translucent electric blue pyramid, and I would look at it from